Greetings, beautiful people. This is SB Favor Thinking Podcast, and my name is SB Favor. How are you doing today? It is Thursday, March 2021, beautiful day, and another day to be thankful. I hope that everyone is having a good day, and if you are out there traveling about, make sure you are wearing your mask and using your hand sanitizer. We are still in the middle of a pandemic. It is not over. We should not take anything for granted. We have already lost too many people, so make sure that you are keeping yourself safe and keeping your family members safe. So we are going to talk about the wrong relationship. Rebecca is here, and we're going to talk about that this evening. But before we get to that, I would also like to remind you to give to Feed America. Feed America is a charity that provides food across the nation at different food banks. So please make sure that you give to America, and you can give at feedamerica.org. I'm suggesting that you give to that charity because a lot of people have suffered hardship in the pandemic, and so we all have to do our part. So please be kind and give to Feed America at feedamerica.org. So how's it going, Rebecca?
Hey, good evening, SB. It's going good. It's Thursday.
Yes.
Almost the end of the week.
Indeed.
And successful, very energetic week. And I am just having a wonderful evening tonight, and just so happy to be here like I always am.
Yeah. Awesome. So like I said to you earlier, I said to you, how are you? And what did I say?
Better.
That's right. We're going to say better. We're not going to say I'm doing good. We're going to say better. I'm doing better.
That's right.
So,
we are doing better.
Yeah. So when somebody says, well, what's wrong? Because if you say better, somebody's going to say, well, what's wrong? No, nothing's wrong. That's just speaking something to it. I'm better. I'm doing better, right?
I'm better.
That's
I
right.
love it. Yes, yes, yes. And we are doing better.
We
Woo.
are doing better. Absolutely. So we're going to talk about the wrong relationship. And the reason why we want to talk about this is because during the pandemic, a lot of things were exposed in relationships. I mean, I've been talking to a lot of people about different things pertaining to relationships. So when you are in the wrong relationship, normally there are red flags, whether it be romantic or friendships. There are red flags, and sometimes we pay attention to them and sometimes we don't. So, Rebecca, what would you describe as the wrong relationship as a friend, from a friendship point of view?
From a friendship level,
Mm-hmm.
well, the wrong relationship is, first of all, when that friendship doesn't give you your space. It's very important to respect other people's time and space. And I would also have to say a friend that is controlling, trying to just kind of control and manipulate, and a friend that's not happy for you when you go through your successes.
Wow.
If they're not happy for you, and you kind of take that, there's a little bit of envy there,
Yeah.
that needs to be double checked to make sure, hey, is this my real true friend?
Yeah, that's true. I agree. Why do you think sometimes people see those type of traits in another person, but they just keep the relationship anyway? Because I mean, I'm guilty of that. I've seen faults in people, and I just say, I'll just pray they get better, and I stayed in that friendship, or sadly, even in a romantic relationship. Why do you think some people keep those relationships?
Well, some people keep relationships, just to have some attention. Okay.
Well, that wasn't me.
Right. Some
Go ahead.
people just keep a relationship, just to have that attention.
Yeah.
Because even if it's negative, it's still attention, right? It's still attention.
Yeah.
I'm still getting the attention.
Yeah.
And also some people might, some people are not confrontational. Some people may not be able to be assertive and confident enough. Because you may not always have to say things directly,
right.
But slowly you could kind of push back.
Right.
Perhaps in meetings and phone calls and gatherings, and kind of giving that message, hey, listen, I'm kind of going a different route, so yeah. I think maybe those might be the.
Well, I think that we all have faults, right? We all have things that we are working, and I think sometimes when you see something in a person that you may not like, it doesn't necessarily mean that's a deal breaker.
True.
But there are certain traits, according to the things that you just mentioned, that are deal breakers, because you should be with someone that supports you, someone that loves you, someone that has your back, someone that truly cares about you. But what if you don't know those things about that person and you don't realize it until later on? What do you do then? Do you break the relationship off? Do you distance yourself? I would say to love that person, and when you do see something about that person that you don't like, I would say pray for them. And if it's something that is a deal breaker, then I would personally distance myself. And that's why I said earlier that I have stayed in relationships that wasn't necessarily good, and I didn't know that they wasn't good for me until after the fact. Because when you first meet somebody, everybody puts on that mask. Sadly, you don't really know who a person is until you spend time with them, right?
True.
Very
true.
But yeah, that happened. Was there a time where you knew that you was in a relationship and it was a romantic relationship, and you knew that this was the wrong relationship for yourself personally?
You mean like in a friendship, a friendship relationship, or like a romantic relationship?
Romantic.
And yes, I saw the red flags. I saw some red flags, and I said, maybe it's because we're kind of new right now. Maybe I'm misinterpreting what I'm seeing, and let me give him some more time to see if perhaps he'll change.
Yeah.
And see, that was the big mistake. But the second mistake, and I have to say this. The second mistake was not waiting. See, it takes time to get to know people.
It does.
And a lot of the times we women and men too, because it's not just women. It is men also. We're so quick to be in that companionship that we're quick to either get engaged or quick to move in with someone, or quick to get married.
Yeah, that's true.
And that is not, even if you don't see any red flags, it's important. What's the rush? What's wrong with dating for a couple of years and getting to know someone?
Absolutely.
And I would like to make some more comments about that later. But back to your question, yes, I did see some flags. There were some things that I learned more along the way as I kind of studied it. As I went, I actually went for some professional advice, and my eyes were enlightened about the things that I was seeing.
Yes.
And they were explained to be more thorough.
Wow. Well, the way to know that you are in the wrong relationship is when you see those red flags pertaining to something that goes against your core values. That's how you know you are in the wrong relationship. Now, I am not a psychologist, but knowledge is my expertise, okay? That's all I'm going to say about that. You will know that you are in the wrong relationship when someone wants you to go against your core value. Your core values are the things that make you who you are. Your core values are the things that may pertain to the integrity that you stand on in your life. Those core values may have something to do with how you were raised, self-love, your confidence. So anyone that tries to make you go against your core values, guess what? That's the wrong relationship. And I know sometimes some of us, we stay in relationships and we try to justify the wrong that we see. But if you see or experience someone trying to make you go against your core values, guess what? That's the wrong relationship. Because the person that loves you, whether it be romantic or a friendship, that person should encourage you to stand in and function in your core values. What you say about that?
I agree 100%. That person should stand with you in your core values.
That's right.
And it's very important also that person realizes that, you are your independent, you are your own person.
That's right.
And just because two people come into a relationship does not mean that each of those persons need to stop being themselves, who they are, and making their own decisions as well.
Yeah.
And that's very important. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. So, what would you say, Rebecca, are the red flags that people should look for when they are wrong? And I'm asking you this question because you are a very wise person and you have a lot of experience. And like I said, knowledge is power. And anything that you have gone through, we can use it to share it with them. What would you say, Rebecca, is the red flags, I should say, in a relationship?
Absolutely. I would say, and I'm gonna pick a couple. I would say some of the red flags are when someone can't make a decision. When they seem to be kind of double minded. They kind of today is yes, but tomorrow is no.
You're talking about
those are red flags because that's someone that isn't they're not stable.
You're talking about for a romantic relationship, that is.
Yes.
Okay. We have to specify that because it's different standards for friendship and romantic.
But even in a romantic relationship.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because when you're in a romantic relationship, what are you leading? What are you looking long term in that romantic relationship, right? When you date someone, you get to know them, right? We're looking for marriage. We're looking to have a foundation of a home.
I ain't looking for marriage.
Children. and
I said I ain't looking for no marriage. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I think that it's important to look at the characteristics of a person. If they're unable to make decisions, and they always need to get other people's opinions. Oh, that's a red flag.
Yeah, that is. Yes, it is.
That's a red flag.
Yeah.
A red flag also is someone that if you're dating someone and they're looking to borrow money from you, okay? Or you notice that they're constantly borrowing money from other people.
Oh wow.
That's a red flag because see, it's important in a relationship, in a romantic relationship that's looking towards a future, that you have a financial stability.
Yeah.
And that all of the financial the financial category of the home, it doesn't fall on one person, right?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
And now I'm going to go into some emotional, some more emotional, some other little tactics. Some red flags is when someone is trying to control you, who you talking to.
Yes.
Who are you talking to when you go out?
Right.
Who are you with? And they start to kind of grill you. They start checking your cell phone.
Yeah.
And a red flag is someone that seems to be very quiet and reserved, or perhaps alienated when you are with your family members and you're having a gathering, and that person seems to kind of give you the cold shoulder, or perhaps an attitude, or kind of doesn't with the crowd.
Oh wow!
Because remember, that's important. If this romantic relationship is going to flow into your family.
Yeah.
And going back to those core values, if you're a family person, you want that's a red flag. If someone doesn't want to be around your family,
right,
is not interested in planning things for family, because let's face it, family's forever.
Absolutely. A man has to be a leader on all levels when it comes to a relationship, his household, a marriage. You talked about money and somebody borrowing money. That tripped me out when I said that. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, a man has to be a leader on all levels when it comes to a relationship. He just has to be. My grandfather, I have to mention this because my grandfather was an example of what a man is. My grandfather. Now, my father, a good person, but I looked at my grandfather more as an example because that's what he exemplified. Now, a man has, I'm going to say it again, a man has a responsibility to lead, a man has a responsibility to do certain things according to an order when he is married or in a relationship. So I just wanted to say that because of what you said, because that's a serious thing. If a man does that and shows that type of behavior, he can't make a decision, he's indecisive, that is serious. I mean,
isn't it?
That, yeah. when you said that, I said here like, oh my God. I mean, I can imagine that. That's not a good look at all. But yeah, that definitely is a red flag, and everything that you said is a red flag, because that man that you invite into your family, he's supposed to socialize. He's supposed to show himself to just to blend in with the family, right? But if he's not socializing, he's isolating you or isolating himself away from the family and just doing those things that that seem kind of ill. Yeah, that's a red flag too, I would say. Absolutely. Jesus.
Of course.
Oof.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think of, when we were younger, perhaps 17, 18, and, you have kind of like that puppy love.
Yeah.
You with someone and you love them, you go for ice cream or you go
Yeah.
to the movies, that's that's different, right? That's different when you become in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s. And as we get older, for people that are divorcees and go to remarry. Another thing, other red flags, are they willing to accept your relationship with your adult children?
Yeah. Wow.
Because, right, an adult that has adult children.
Yes.
Some people are very, very close with their adult children, but they do maintain a communication. But there are other adults that have a constant conversation with their children. They might have breakfast with their children 2 or 3 times a week. They might go to dinner once or twice a month, right? Yeah. They might even take a family trip. So this relationship that is becoming a romantic relationship, the red flags would be when someone really, tries to prevent you from doing that. Perhaps they want you to be with them all the time, and it bothers them when other people are around you, and they just feel some type of way.
Wow.
That's a red flag, because, like, going back to what you said, your core values, as an adult, for me, as a single woman, my adult children, they're my children, and I'm going to have my relationship with my children, and no one will come in between that. No one.
That
Right?
that side of a relationship, I think that when a person has adult children, children of any age, I think that there should be a balance, especially when there is adult children, because I think that sometimes when a parent dates and the children want their time, it becomes, I've seen people, what I'm about to say, I've seen people go through where the time wasn't balanced. You know what I mean? So it has to be a balance.
It has to be a balance.
The
You're
kids,
right. Yes.
the kids, yes, they deserve their time with their mom, their dad, and that's important. You can't break that. But if it's somebody trying to change that to the point where they don't want to keep the balance, they want all your time, now that's toxic. That's toxic, because when you date somebody, or if you're married to somebody that have older children, you do have to consider that. You do have to, you have to keep a balance, because that's where you keep the relationship healthy. But what you said, yes, they are red flags when somebody tries to become territorial. That's what I call that. They become territorial to just, they want all your time. They try to be included in everything. They don't step back to let you have time with the other family members. That's not. We have to all make sure that we are making the right choices when it comes to relationships, whether it be a romantic relationship or a friendship. We have to make sure that you flow easy, having the same standards. You can't be in a relationship with someone and you have different standards. And what I mean by that is, I'm not saying you have to be totally alike 100%, but what I'm saying is you cannot compromise your core values. Some people compromise their core values because, like we were talking about earlier, they don't want to be alone, or they settle for less. We were talking about that earlier in the week when we were having technical difficulty. Rebecca, we're talking about.
Yes, you're right. Some people don't want to be alone, and and here's a perfect example. Some people don't want to be alone, and they just want a companion.
Yeah.
Not necessarily for any reason or any romantic reasons, but just to have a companion.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever heard of people just kind of connecting for companionship. They might get married, they might not, but even if they did get married, they'll sleep in separate rooms, and it's almost like mates, but but it's a companionship.
Yeah.
And I think that people need to kind of really be careful with that, because you could be with someone for companionship, but the other person might really be in it for love.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if you're not able to give that love, don't string the person along.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a red flag.
Yeah. I mean, it just comes down to one thing, and it is this: we have to make better choices as individuals, and we have to be honest with ourselves, and we have to be honest with the people that are in our lives, because a lot of times, like you just mentioned, people do just kind of drag people along, and sometimes, what if you tell a person that you're not interested, but they still won't leave? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and it's easy to fall into that. It's easy to say, because and I went through that.
Me
and
too.
It's easy to say, well, okay, come on, all right, I'll go with you to dinner.
Yes.
Well, okay, I'll go. But what happens when you is that in your heart, you may not be interested in a person romantically, but by you continuing to spend time with, we have to think about what that's doing to the other person. And one of the red flags is when someone becomes obsessive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be very hard for that person to remove.
Yeah, but you know what?
Yeah.
But you know what? When you tell somebody that you're not interested, and they say, "Oh, well, we can be friends," and then they go along with the being a friend thing, and they say they're okay with that, you can no longer be responsible for the other person's emotions when you have already told them.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
If they say I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But you know how does that really happen?
Yeah.
Does that really? Because I was gonna say, because if a man might say that just to not let you go.
Yeah.
But
true.
you know that every once in a while he's gonna throw, "Oh, you're so beautiful.
Exactly.
Oh, I love you." Now, friends don't talk like that to each other, especially. Unless they're best friends. Like I might say, "I love you, SP." You might say, "Oh, I love you, Rebecca." That's different. But when someone tells you, "Oh, I love you," then you know that they're taking the friendship to another level. Yeah. And you just want it to be a friendship.
Yeah, yeah. We just have to we have to be honest.
You might have to cut it off.
Yeah,
completely.
yeah, yeah.
You gotta just say, "I'm so sorry, but you and I, we just, I'm sorry. I don't mean to hurt you, but
Yeah.
I'm not looking for anything permanent with you. I'm not in love with you, and I can't have a friendship with you because you're not able to you cross the boundaries of a friendship."
Yeah, we just have to be honest, and we have to, like I said, we have to make sure that we're making the right choices, and we have to not focus on people's faults, but we have to know what's best for us as individuals. The first thing you have to think about, is what are the standards for yourself? Are you loving yourself? What works for you in your life as what do you have in common with that person? You cannot compromise your core values to stay in a relationship, especially the wrong relationship. A wrong relationship can consist of emotional abuse, which is an episode we did a couple weeks back. If you're in a relationship where you're being emotionally abused, you shouldn't be in that relationship. If someone's hitting you, you shouldn't be in that relationship. If someone is talking down or speaking to you in a violent way, which is emotional abuse, you shouldn't be in that relationship. That's the wrong relationship. From a friendship point of view, male or female, if you are among people that are your friends and they don't support you, guess what? You shouldn't be in that relationship. If you are with so-called friends that say they love you, but when they see success in your life, they become, as they say, shady. That's the wrong relationship. So we need to check that out, because being in the right relationship is a part of our emotional health. What do you think about that, Rebecca? Our emotional health.
Our emotional health. Our emotional health is very important.
Yes.
Because if we if our emotional health is being jeopardized, yes, it's going to carry into our physical. Because, see, sometimes we cannot speak or describe perhaps what we're feeling emotionally, but our body is going to speak. Yes, stress. Our body, yes, will speak reactions of anxiety, with pain, stress on the body, stress, nervousness, headaches, even inflammation, yes, digestive problems. And I think we spoke about these things a few weeks ago. Yes. You feel worn down. All those physical symptoms is actually the result of your emotional system breaking down because you're in either a negative or toxic relationship. And there you go. The key word is toxic. There you go. Toxic. And when you look at that word and define it, it's something bad for your mind, your spirit, like Rebecca just said, and your body. That's good. I'm glad you said that. Toxic. Yes. Toxic. Yep. A toxic relationship can be someone that lies to you all the time, just for no reason. They just lie all the time. They just lying. They show you no respect. They make you feel like you're not important. They can't be trusted. They're not loyal. They're not consistent, and they even compete with you. Now, isn't that something? That is this. They compete and with you. No, that's I feel that to be almost like a heavy. I almost it almost becomes an obstacle to because someone that's trying to compete with. Let's break that down for you. If you're always trying to compete with me, it's because you're not happy with yourself. Low self-esteem. You're not happy with your own accomplishments. And I've seen this with people that have their doctorates, have their bachelors. They have it all. They got 20, 50,000 in the bank, and or cars, but yet they feel the need to come. Isn't that something? Yeah, when a person does that, that comes from low self-esteem, and it also represents their need to feel validated. When you love yourself and you are secure within yourself, and in your heart there's nobody else on this earth that's like you. You might have somebody that look like you, which is a reflection, but when you are truly confident about your unique nature, and in your heart nobody can compete with you because nobody can be. But when people are not secure within themselves, and they have a low self-esteem, and they have a lack of self-love, that's when they find it necessary to compete with us. And sadly, if that person is in a romantic relationship competing with the person that they say they love, that's not love, that's sick. That's right, that's not love. Perfect. That is when someone is trying to compete with you all the time, that is not love. You are so right. And I love the word you just said. Be unique, be yourself. Yes. And be happy with the type of person you are. That's right. Growing up, right? Growing up sometimes, I may have felt many emotions, but as I've gotten, I like my style. I like the way I dress. I like the way I could down dress. I could up dress. And I'm happy with me, with myself, and I don't want to copycat, and I don't want to imitate. That's right. No one else, because I want to be who I'm destined to be, and that's Rebecca. Rebecca right. B. Yes. I mean, we have to be who we are, But being in the wrong relationship, that's this. We're talking about this because, like I said, during the pandemic, I was having a lot of discussions with a lot of people, and being on lockdown, we got to identify with some things we didn't see before, and sadly, people that were so in love or no longer together, people that were married or divorced, relationships were proven during this pandemic. And the wrong relationship in different situations, you will see if you are in the right or wrong relationship. When you go through a crisis in your life and that person is not there for you and they change on you, guess what? It's been exposed that you are in a relationship. Because when you go through trying times, the right relationship
is refined. That means it's being purified, it's being proven. Because when you have a good relationship, when you go through something, it gets stronger as you prevail through your crisis.
That's right.
When you are in the wrong relationship, if anything can break it, guess what? That means it was wrong from the beginning. Then there are relationships sometimes that are seasonal, right? We know that there are, relationships that sometimes they are seasonal. And those relationships are for lessons. And that doesn't mean that it could have been the wrong relationship just because it was seasonal. That relationship was just, like I said, it was just for a lesson. And you might still be in contact with that person, but things are not like it used to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And and I want to say too that it's good to earlier you talked about balance.
Yes.
And I know we're talking about relationships, but I want to just make a note on romantic relationships.
Yes.
It's I think it's important that when you meet someone that you always take the time to analyze, should this friendship just stay as a friendship, or platonic? Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Should this just be a platonic friendship? Because sometimes some friendships are not meant to be romantic.
Absolutely. That's right.
Right?
That's right.
Because if we go into a romantic relationship but it was only meant to be platonic, then we're set up for failure anyway.
Yeah.
Because and one thing you said about the relationships is that the relationship should bring out the best version of you.
That's right.
We were talking about being. That's
right.
what I meant to say. So any relationship you're in, whether it's a girlfriend to girlfriend, best friend relationship,
Yes.
even a workman relationship with a colleague, a boyfriend and girlfriend, whatever relationship, a romantic relationship, that should bring the best version of yourself.
Yes.
And not just of you, but of that partner.
Yes, absolutely. It should encourage and influence you to be something better. Now, I'm not talking about depending on that person just so that, everything can just be positive. Rebecca's not talking about that because we all need to be challenged to be better. But,
Correct.
I believe what you're talking about, Rebecca, is somebody that can help you to just take you up a little higher, to be influenced and to be encouraged. You don't want to be around somebody that's going to make you do things that you were doing 10 years ago. You know
That's
what I mean?
right.
Yeah, so that's a better example. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely, and also to help reach some of those goals that you have, right?
Yes.
So when you have a friendship, I'll say a friend of mine, and I see that there's something that she wants to do, or there's a goal that she's trying to reach. I'm gonna encourage her.
Yes.
I'm gonna say, hey, listen, don't give up. Go ahead. I'm rooting for you, right?
Yes.
And that's the way it should. We should root for each other, encourage each other. But it's so sad to say, and even in the Latin culture, because I am Latin. Sometimes people just don't want to see the other person excel and perhaps gain some more freedom and independency. Being in a relationship or a marriage is not all about just serving each other hand and foot and just forgetting about the outside of the four walls of your home. Or we got to engage and socialize, and we got to team up. Relationship, whether it's romantic, whether it's platonic, it's we that friendship has to team up. What have similar goals? What are your goals? If you have someone that and I'm gonna speak reality. If you have someone that likes to go to, they like the social nightlife. All right, if that's what you like, that's what you like. But then if you have someone that prefers to write or read, right? Someone that prefers to, perhaps go hiking or go lay out on the beach, but you have this other person that likes the nightlife. Just rather be, perhaps at the bikers club, or perhaps, with people. So you need to also study that, because that's not going to be a good combination.
Well, the thing
right?
is,
I mean, what do you think?
Well, the thing is this: we all have to be who we are, right? And so, when you have friends that may be doing something that you're not doing, the relationship can exist for a specific reason and not necessarily to do those things that you just mentioned together. It's okay if that friend wants to go to the nightlife and all that stuff. Okay, they can do that, but the relationship, that type of friendship might be for a specific reason. It might not be to hang out like that, but it might be for another reason. That person might be somebody that just calls you up to get advice or be encouraged, or they might call you up for prayer or something like that. You know what I mean? And the only reason why I'm saying that because we're all so different, and I'm not into certain things, and if I'm in a friendship with someone that's into things that's different than me, I'm not going to eliminate them altogether. I'm going to separate when it's time to separate. Because what you just said, Rebecca, I had friends that was like that. They were into certain things I wasn't into. And I separated myself when it was time. If we went on vacation together and I didn't want to do the things they were doing, I said, "Oh, y'all can go ahead. I'll be right here." You know what I mean? So I understand what you're talking about. I totally get that. Yeah.
And it's sad that even sometimes friend perhaps cut their friendship with you because you're different. I mean, it's happened to me. Where friendships have cut me off because maybe I wasn't as much as outgoing as they were.
Yeah.
And you feel bad. But I'm the type of person, I love you. If you need me, I'm here.
Yeah. I mean, we're all so different. As I said, if that person cares about you and they respect you, they're not going to treat you like that. They'll just respect the fact that you are who you are. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't cut you off, Rebecca. I wouldn't.
Thank you, SB. Don't cut me off, please.
But people are who they are. I was at a friend's house one day, and somebody I haven't seen in a long time went to go visit, and they were all together doing their thing, and they knew what I was about. You know what I mean? So when they wanted to, I'm just keep it real, they wanted to smoke a joint. You know what I mean? So well, weed. I'm gonna say weed because joint is my generation. Weed is the younger generation. Yeah. Okay, so they so they wanted to smoke weed, right? So they wanted to light up, and they said, well, we're gonna step out and do our thing, and because they respected me, so they didn't want to do it around me, which I thank God, right? I thank God for that. But I didn't judge them and say, oh, I can't be around them, let me get up out of here. Nah, I said, no, I'm gonna be still. I'm not, I don't do that. But they respected me, and we had a good time. We ate, we laughed, and through all of that, God showed me. He's like, when you're in the midst of a situation like that, sometimes you just got to be still and just, see what the purpose is in it. After all that happened, we ended up having prayer like the next day.
Look at that. I believe it. And isn't that something?
Yeah.
Because, that's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
We're supposed to do that.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to, just cut off people.
Right.
And no.
Yeah.
You did the right thing. You said, go ahead, go do your thing.
That's right.
I'll be right here for you when you get back.
That's right. Because
you did the right thing.
Yeah. I mean, we've been friends for a while, and so I mean, it's all good. But like I said, the point of us talking about this topic is because during the pandemic, a lot of things were exposed, and we need to identify when we are in the wrong relationship. And we must also recognize when we are in the right relationship. And as I mentioned earlier, if you're in a relationship with somebody that does not support you, they compete with you, they try to isolate you, they lie to you about everything, they can't be trusted, they're not loyal, guess what? You're in the wrong relationship. Don't deprive yourself of something better, and don't settle for less. Because if you settle for less, that means there's something lacking in you. So check that, because we all should be working on ourselves. And so we want to have the right relationships so that we emotionally healthy, mentally. And like I said, we have to work on ourselves. But if you are in the wrong relationship, that's a hindrance. It's a big hindrance, because that person is taking up space in your life that should be for somebody else that really loves you. So, and that could be a romantic relationship or just a friendship, male or female. choosing to be in the wrong relationship is just toxic. And I know sometimes we all have made mistakes, and we have done things for the sake of not having the knowledge, and some of us have matured and we have grown. We have grew up, so to speak, and we just need to do better. We just need to do better. So, Rebecca, is there anything else you want to share?
We need to do better,
Yeah.
like you just said. And if you are in a relationship, see any of those red flags that we found today.
Yeah.
Seriously consider perhaps getting a second if you're not sure for yourself.
Yeah.
And one thing that SB always says: pray.
Yeah.
Pray.
Yeah.
If when you don't know what to do, pray, because I guarantee you 100% that God will speak to you and show you and direct you, because it's not the best thing to be in a toxic relationship.
It is not, because it is taking up space in your life that you could have for someone else that really loves you. We need to do better, and we need to love ourselves, and we need to make sure that we are working on ourselves to be an asset for someone else. But you cannot cast your pearl to swine. And I know some of y'all don't understand what that means. It means to give something to someone that does not respect you or love you. I'm giving you my version of the definition, okay?
That's right.
It means
that's
you. Right. They don't appreciate you. They don't honor or value who you are. Don't cast your pearls to swine. Swine is considered to be something unclean. That's something that Jesus said. And I'm saying that because that's what just came to my mind. So, on that note, Rebecca, is there anything else you want to share?
I love it. I love what you just said, because I think of pearls.
Yes.
And I think of being unique. Let's be unique. Let's be who we are.
Yes.
Let's be comfortable in our skin.
Yes.
Let's be proud of who we are, and be bold. And if it's not working, it's not working.
That's
Keep
right.
on moving.
That's
right.
it. And you can start over again, no matter how old you are. Even if you've gone through a divorce or a messy breakup, you can heal and you can start over and be better. So I thank you so much for listening to SB Favorite Thinking Podcast. I appreciate you, listeners. I hope that you will share this podcast with many. And if you need to reach me, you can reach me at sbfavorite@yahoo.com, the email. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at SB. I also have a YouTube channel. Please click like and click the bell so that you can receive a notification each time there is a new episode of SB Thinking Podcast. We are almost at 100 episodes, and we are going to go live, so look out for that. Please share the podcast, leave me some feedback, and thank you again for listening, and you have a good day.